I remember that day, and it started real early. It started at like 4 o'clock in the morning when they started infiltrating the city. And
were you on duty at the time, or were you?
My unit was basically one that was on duty 24/7, and there were 3 of us, U.S. advisors, and then we had 1,600 national Chinese. They were actually Indian-ish in nature. They were called the Niknhk tribe, kind of like what the Montagnard tribe was in the hills of the highlands of Vietnam. These people were actually hired in regards to like being mercenaries. And there were 1,600 of them, and they had 3 U.S. advisors that oversaw their operations. And most of my duties at that time related to security and anti-terrorism type of situations.
But that morning of Tet, you said it started at about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
What was your first inkling that something was wrong?
Incoming rocket rounds, which in itself isn't that unusual. However, it was particularly heavy at that time. And of course, we were aware that Tet was coming. It's a national holiday, and we had seen throughout the I-Corps region during Tet offenses, or during the Tet holidays, the offenses were somewhat stronger than normal. The next was the actual showing up of the fighting forces, and which was primarily the sympathizers, the Viet Cong type, the civilian militia. There were probably intermonks. There was probably some NVA, North Vietnamese Army, which was their professional army.
But not in uniform.
Not in uniform.
Right.
Not in uniform. They just hit very ferociously, very quickly, and at numbers that were, I think, unexpected, and the embassy fell.
They went right after the U.S. embassy? Is that, that's what
they
their
took
objective
several other focal points in Saigon, but for the Americans, the embassy was the key place.
Were many civilians killed in that offensive in the
city?
city?
Civilians and a lot of military.
Yeah, on both sides.
On both sides,
of course.
Yeah.
It's often said that while it wasn't a military victory, it was a psychological victory. Because we did get the embassy back and stabilize the city, but by that time it was too late.
And they accomplished
the psyche of the country was rocked.
Right, it really was. It really was, and it was a very tumultuous time for everybody, I think. And we learned some hard lessons, and we lost some good people.